Hey folks, welcome to yet another update for Trials of Avorkarth, a game and realm I'm making in my spare time. Last we left, I was working on the character creation screen, and this is a continuation of that. I got some feedback from the previous character creation video, as well as some feedback from my coworkers and some friends, so thank you to all of you. And I decided to clean it up a bit instead of trying to squish all the information into a single page. And the question that popped into my mind was, what was the most important? Was it the lore of the game or the statistics of the game? And what matters more to me is a consistent lore, a realm and world that makes sense. So that's what I decided to focus on. Hence, when you first open up the species selection, the first thing you'll see is the written lore as well as the world map. Minor detail first, I suppose, and then we'll go into all the different changes. The minor details, I'm still trying to learn more about how to use the UMG system in Unreal Engine, and I learned how to do some animation. I tried out a few things, and I wanted to make it a bit more obvious that the characters were drawn in, so I created this kind of brush effect of my own creation. Not very fancy, not very good, but still a lot of fun to learn. So now it emphasizes the idea that the character is drawn in, keeping to that sketchy look. If I do transition to a paint and more detailed pictures for the species down the line, then I'll worry about that. But for now, I'm very happy with how that turned out. Moving on, the lore, instead of being horizontal, is now vertical to give way to a representation of the world and realm of Avorkarth, Karthia, Isil, depending on whatever the species is. They have their name for it in their own mythologies and histories. But it also gives an idea of where the species would be located based on their most populated capital, or clan in the case of a few others. And I'm just going through them real quick to show what I mean. The other uncommon and rare and so on further on species, such as fae and mythological creatures, will have the same down the line, but I'm not too worried about it. And if you want to see a bit behind the map, for example, the Tildrens kind of hides where it lies. You can therefore turn it on or off and easily see a bit behind the map. And likewise, right below, there's a species population, which will give a good idea of how spread out certain species and or races of species are throughout the realm. So in this case, the order is by order of rarity. So the Karthians are the most spread out, followed by the Shirasians, then the Tildrens, Thrakins, Xia, and then the Teruk. And you can quickly tell that even the yellow being an oddity, so if a Teruk is wandering through the grassy lands of Lagar and his forests, they would be viewed upon with either suspicion or surprise or that kind of stuff, whereas the extremely rare and the rare sightings even more so. I'll try to incorporate that into the game as best as I can, because it's something that I always enjoy when a game is reactive to the choices that I make. So that's all down the line. But for now, at least the lore is consistent, and I'm able to show that through. The statistics that used to be down below are now in their own page, a bit easier to read, slightly larger. They have their kind of the stats expanded upon. So instead of having a bunch of tiny numbers under the species image, now that purely shows height and age. Much easier to tell in that regards. And then all the kind of movement and sight and all those were moved into larger categories of their own. The ability scores were the ones that were there previously, and now there's also something that I wanted, natural magical aptitude, which I would emphasize is exceedingly rare. So humans have 0 in it, but there are maybe a certain few that can feel the tug of those mystical forces. And that would be why there's the exclamation mark up above. It's for those who want to play a more heroic version of their species instead of an average of their species. So you can check that box out, and it'll give you access to all of the increase and decrease of ability scores, which any increase is huge. Like 1 is a big number difference in this realm, and it allows you to create perhaps a character a bit beyond, but still within to the limitation of that species. So in this case, the Karthian humans would have a great potential for intelligence, but less so of a potential for instinct or to be able to harden their skin with toughness, that kind of stuff. This would be per species, and you can go through it once I've also included all the rest. However, for now, I think that that's what I've updated. The next on the agenda is I'm going to start going through the skills, which prompted this whole cleaning thing because there were too many skills and I was trying to figure out how to lay them all out. But I'm very happy with how this is all coming along, and yeah, trekking on, and I'll get through it eventually. Thanks as always for watching, and may you have a wonderful day. Cheers.